Hello, everybody. This is Kevin Conroy with BindTuning. Just want to call and welcome everybody to the call this morning. We're going to have a pretty exciting day talking about all the fun things that are happening inside of the SharePoint framework and all the new, I can't get my, there we go. All the new changes that are taking place inside of the Office 365 ecosystem and the SharePoint on-prem, Microsoft's work. We've been seeing a lot of changes with modern sites, the framework, and we're very excited at BindTuning to talk about what we've been working on. We're going to show off some of those pretty powerful solutions today, and we're going to start with asking about. So just a quick agenda. We're going to do a real quick overview on BindTuning. I think a lot of you already know it. It's really great to see so many names that are recognized on the call, so thank you for making the time this morning. And then we'll go into what you need to know about what is the SharePoint framework. Really good person's going to join me today, Zhuang from our team, our chief architect, and he's going to explain all the technical ins and outs, so you won't be listening to me babble on about SharePoint framework. And we're going to get a little video. We're going to show the video web part and then kind of talk a little bit about how we see BindTuning rolling out the various web parts that we have and kind of some of the changes that you'll see in the coming quarter, and that really Q1 and Q2 with all of them. And I think everybody understands the value prop that that we bring to the table here and where BindTuning really fits. And we really look at our set of tools as the building blocks that you need to take and extend SharePoint Office 365 into the enterprise, and really a simple and cost-effective way of providing information and a really robust and beautiful experience, and really delivering that really rich user experience to your end users. I think you're going to see where the modern sites has some really nice tools. I think it's really designed for a communication platform, and then we'll talk over the next couple of weeks and months over how we fit into that area and how we can really extend that experience and drive the user experience for everybody. So I think the overview here is, and this is probably our best visual that we've had for a long time now, is really talking about how the themes, the web parts, and the tools work together. And if you kind of look at it as a layered platform, this is probably the best way to understand this. And now with the SharePoint framework, I think you're going to be able to see where we can continue to extend that, really bridge that gap there. And so really the things that are going to be happening here in the next, during this call and then in the coming weeks really is classic versus modern, why web parts and themes, and then kind of our availability on how we're going to roll out. We have 11 web parts right now in our quiver of beautiful UX web parts. And you'll see where we're going to have very quickly here. We'll be rolling out videos first, and then we just are going to continue to extend that platform and deliver through March, all 11. And then in addition to, we have a pretty robust roadmap for a bunch of new products that are coming out in the coming weeks. And our big product that we're really excited about, we're not going to go into detail here, is really our provisioning engine. And you'll be hearing from me on that here by the end of the month and into February. So pretty exciting time. And then Zhuang's going to talk about how do you get it and how do you use the video web part. So with that, enough of my talking. Let's get Zhuang involved here, and he's going to show off what we're doing here. So let me get this transferred over to you and.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today's session about the SharePoint framework web parts that we will soon release. Before getting to the demo of the video web parts, I will talk a little bit about what you will start receiving starting tomorrow when you get one of our web parts. So the first one that we will release is the video web part. This was released by us for the classic environment, and basically this web part allows you to easily add a video from an external source into SharePoint in a way that it will be responsive without you to write a single line of code. So the only thing you need to do is really to get the link from the video and paste it directly into the web part settings. We have it available for Classic. We will continue to support all the distribution methods that we currently support, which means that we will continue to have the WSP solutions. They are sandbox solutions, declarative sandbox solutions, still fully supported by Microsoft in all SharePoint versions, on-prem, online. You will have no problem using that. It's the only version that will work without any extra configuration across all SharePoint versions. We will also have the add-in model. It's also available for all versions, but that requires you to have the app catalog configured in order to get the add-in installed and applied into your web site. So tomorrow you will receive for the videos a third type, and that will be available for now for Office 365, SharePoint Online. And this is because it's the only version of SharePoint that currently have support for this type of products. So basically, you will be able to select one of the three versions, and you will not lose any of the functionalities by using one or the other. The new version of the web part, the framework version, the modern version of the web part, will work on modern pages, but it will also work on the classic pages like team sites and publishing sites, which means that you will no longer need to install two different versions. You will be able to use the same version across the modern and classic environment of SharePoint. But without further ado, let's check how it looks like on the modern environment. And I have here a modern website with the web part applied to it with all the 5 providers that we currently support. If you are familiar with this web part, you know that we have a custom interface for you to manage the settings of the web part. With the framework, we are using the default property settings from SharePoint. And this means that you need to click on this pencil icon to bring up the settings. And from here, you will need to select what will be your provider. And you will need to paste the link for the video itself. Then there's also the advanced option to display the errors or not. But these first 2 options are really the options that define the settings of the web part. So we support YouTube, we support Vimeo, we support Office 365 Video Portal, we support Brightcove, and we support for all the browsers MP4 videos that you have hosted online. So the only thing that you need to do is copy the link to the MP4 file, and all the modern browsers will use the HTML5 player to reproduce the video. As you can see in this page, I have the MP4 at the top that allows me to easily play the video. I have the YouTube, the Vimeo option, Brightcove, and the Office 365 video portal. And this page is responsive out of the box. All the modern sites are responsive out of the box. All our products are fully responsive, even for the classic environment. And this means that the web part will easily adjust to the size of the screen. All of them will adjust to the size of the screen. And without doing anything to the layout, they will automatically stack on top of each other when you are opening the page in a mobile device. So back to the presentation. This is just the first web part that we are releasing. We will migrate all the web parts that we currently have for the classic environment during this year. On Q1, we will migrate quick links, we will migrate alerts, we will migrate maps and calendar, and you will not lose any of the existing functionalities from the current web parts when we migrate them over to the new version. We will also release new web parts. The brand new web part that we will release this quarter is the weather web part. There is a pretty nice web part that allows you to predefine a location to display the weather or on your portal. Your user will be able to define their own location as well, and they will be able to interact with the web part and change the settings without you to manually modify the settings. We will also have themes later this year for the modern environment. We don't have yet an available date for the release. We are already working on them, but we are waiting for a more stable version of the framework with the support for the application customizers to then release the themes globally for modern sites. From the technical side of this modern web parts, one thing that I would like to tell you is that we are using version 1.4 of the SharePoint framework, and that means that we will host all the web part resources on your environment. So you will not need to set up the Office 365 CDN. Everything will be hosted directly inside of your SharePoint environment. This was a short demo. This is a real simple web part, but we really want to let you know that we are working hard on the new products, and we will have them soon migrated to the new platform to give you the same functionality that you get now from our products into the modern SharePoint. And with this being said, anyone that has questions, you can use the chat, and me and Kevin, we will be glad to answer all your questions about the SharePoint framework, the modern web parts, or the modern themes that we will soon release. We have a question, and the question is this supported on SharePoint 2013? No, currently it's not supported on SharePoint 2013, but if Microsoft ever releases the SharePoint framework for 2013, this will be also supported. It will be supported for 2016. But for 2013, you can get this type of functionality as well by using the classic version of the web part, either as a sandbox solution or as an add-in. okay. So we have another question, and the question is: will pricing structure remain the same, or will be there a change? Kevin, can you please reply to Jaime about the pricing?
Hey, everybody. Yeah, so pricing is going to stay the same for the SharePoint framework, new web parts, and basically the way we look at it is, I know there's been a lot of changes with how partners, including BindTuning, price a lot of their solutions, and so we're all moving very quickly to the subscription model, and the benefits now will really start to come through as we roll out a number of web parts now that support the framework and remain also true to Classic for those people that are still on 2013. And it'll be really nice. And so you get those as part of your subscription package, which is the big benefit there of being able to continue to add functionality and features and not be in a situation where you have to continue to have an increasing price point. So this will be really nice for everybody, and I think you'll see the power now of the subscription model. And then also too, one thing, I don't think, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
And then one thing I do want to add to that too is that with the SharePoint 13 on-prem and talking to a number of people at Microsoft, that's a platform that's going to be supported for a long time. So I know some customers will be going and keeping their 13 platform in place, and then maybe deploying a hybrid environment using the communication sites and the team sites of Office 365, and that's going to be a strategy. You will be able to have that crossover effect, and it'll be a really nice experience for a lot of people. One thing we are waiting on is Microsoft there's an update we're waiting on the framework so we can push out themes for the SharePoint framework. And I don't know, Zhang, if you want to just kind of mention that a little bit and talk a little bit about what we're waiting on and kind of where we're at with the theme process.
All right, so about the theme process, we are basically already working on them. We have prototypes of the themes already working on the modern environment, but the technology that we are using to build the themes, it's not stable enough for us to publicly release the themes. Basically, there are still pages on the modern environment that are not able to use all the functionalities of the SharePoint framework. So we will continue to develop them internally, and when Microsoft releases a stable version of the application customizer across all modern sites, we will then release the themes globally for the modern sites. About this web part specifically, we have here a few more questions. So Sam asks, does it support SharePoint Online Classic page? Yes, it supports SharePoint Online Classic page. So all the framework web parts that you install on your Office 365 will be available either in the modern environment and also in the Classic site, and you will be able to use them directly on there. Quick note about the Classic environment and the SharePoint framework web parts. If you are familiar with our existing web parts, you will notice a slightly difference in the settings of the web parts because we continue to use the default settings that are provided by Microsoft in the framework on Classic environments. So there's another question. Are there any external libraries being used, for example, CDNs? Our organization has some restrictions on using external sites. Yes and no, it's the answer to this question. So depending on the type of product that you will be using, it might have external calls to our CDN. So trials will be having external calls to our CDN. So basically, the files will not be hosted on your side, but rather on ours. If you go with a full version of the product, then all the files will be hosted directly inside of your system. So it means that you will not have any external calls outside of your SharePoint environment. All right, Ben asks, do you use Office UI Fabric for the responsive? Yes, the Office UI Fabric, it's included by default on modern pages, and we are using obviously the UI Fabric to get the responsiveness, but we also have our components built with Bootstrap, which means that we also use Bootstrap inside of the modern pages. Okay, there's another question. Will current themes be available or there will be a new set? So the themes will be migrated. We are still deciding if we will migrate all of them, but basically most of the themes that we currently have, they will be migrated over to the new platform. So you'll be able to get the same experience globally across your SharePoint sites. Your users will not notice much of a difference if they navigate from a classic site directly to a modern site. And that's one of our main goals, to keep consistency between SharePoint pages and SharePoint sites.
Okay, any other questions? We'll, oh wait, one more coming in here. I'll wait.
So the question from Jaime is, we'll be able to use the theme for both modern and standard online? No, the theme will be completely different. So the entire structure of the theme will be different. So you will have to have one theme for classic and another theme from modern. It will not be like the web parts where we will have the same web part working on both environments. And for the viewers that arrived later, yes, this recording will be made available later.
Hey, João, let's just roll the video.
All right, let me go back here.
And then we'll kind of conclude, just so everybody can kind of see.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
So this is basically the modern site with one of the default available web parts and 5 of our video web parts in the page. And this is getting all the information from external sites with the exception of this first one, that it's actually hosted in this site. I uploaded the MP4 video directly to this site inside of one of the libraries, and I'm referencing it over here. So I will quickly show again the settings of the web parts. I will, for instance, edit this one. This will bring up the property pane and the web parts immediately, readjust to the new size of the content area. And from here, you can select the video settings. You can paste the URL to the video, and this is something that you can get directly from the browser, the browser URL, and you can define what will be the errors to be displayed to the end user. So currently we support these 5 providers, and the MP4 it's basically supporting MP4 videos. And this year we will also support other professional video platforms like Wistia and Microsoft Stream and HubSpot. So we will continue to evolve this web part, and we will add support for more platforms to get them responsive and to get them inside of SharePoint easily without the user to write code on the SharePoint pages. All right, so going back to the chat, let me see if there's something new. So there's a new question: what's the approximate time frame for themes for modern sites? So this will depend on what will be the plans for Microsoft to release a new version of the framework with the application customizer fully available for the framework sites, for the modern sites. And as soon as that functionality is stable, we will then be able to release the themes. All right, guys.
You want to wrap this up, João?
Yeah, I was asking if there's no other question, we can wrap this up. The video will be available in our blog. So if you want to see this later, or if you want to share it later on with some of your colleagues, feel free to go to our blog and share the link to the video.
And I just want to say thanks again, everybody, for continuing to support BindTuning, and we look forward to a really exciting 2018. We're going to be at a number of SharePoint Saturdays. We're going to be at the SharePoint Conference in Las Vegas, of course. We're going to be at Internet Reloaded in Boston, and then, of course, Partner Conference, and then in July, and then Ignite in September. So hope to see you guys all out there. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me, Kevin@bindtuning.com. We'll get you answers to any of your questions and make sure that we're continuing to support you. So thank you for coming, and have a great day.